The fire pit ritual. The desert winds were hot and sharp like knives. The sun burned from above, and the sand below felt like fire. In the center of a dusty village, a tall wooden pit stood. Flames danced beneath it, hungry and wild. Around the pit, strange alien people chanted in a deep rhythm. They wore bones and red paint, and their faces showed no mercy. In the center of the pit stood a girl, Zalari. Her skin shimmered like pearl, and her silver hair flowed down her back, dirty from sand and sweat. Her hands were tied, and her ankles were chained to the wood. Her eyes, wide with fear, looked at the sky, hoping for something, anything, to stop what was coming. She was not from this tribe. She was different. Her blood was silver, and that made the tribe call her cursed. They believed she brought bad luck, sickness, and death. The truth was, she was just lost, separated from her people after a ship crash weeks ago. But here, no one listened to the truth. A large tribal leader stepped forward. His name was Groth, and his voice was loud. He raised his hand and shouted, "Burn the cursed one. Let the flames clean the sky." The crowd screamed back, waving sticks and bones. The fire roared louder, as if it was ready to taste her. Zalari's body shook, but she did not scream. Her people had always taught strength, even in death. She closed her eyes and waited for pain. Suddenly, the sky cracked. A loud boom shook the earth. A trail of smoke appeared above. Someone was falling from the sky in a metal pod. It smashed into the ground near the village, throwing sand everywhere. The flames in the pit jumped. People screamed and backed away. The pit's fire grew wild, but all eyes turned to the smoking crater. From the metal pod, a tall figure rose. His armor was black with red lights glowing across it. Steam hissed from his boots. His face was partly covered, but his eyes were clear, human eyes. It was a man. A human man. He stepped forward slowly. His voice was deep and calm. "Let her go," Groth growled. "What is this creature? Another curse from the sky?" The human didn't reply. He walked toward the pit, and the tribe backed away, afraid. His presence was strong, and his weapon was strange, long and glowing. With one shot, he broke the chain holding Zalari. The fire snapped, but she did not fall in. He jumped in, lifted her into his arms, and leaped out again. Flames kissed his armor, but he didn't stop. The tribe roared, "Stop him! Kill the sky demon!" Groth threw a spear, but the human turned and shot at midair. The spear exploded into dust. Zalari, still weak, looked up at him and whispered, "Why?" The human answered, "Because no one deserves to burn." They ran into the desert as the tribe chased them. Behind them, the fire still burned, angry and wild. The ritual had been stopped. The cursed girl was gone, and a new fear had taken root in the tribe, the fear of the human from the sky. But Zalari's journey was just beginning. She didn't know the man's name. She didn't know where he came from. But she knew one thing. She was still alive. And for the first time in days, she had hope. The escape through flame and sand. The fire still roared behind them, but the desert ahead was silent. Logan held Zalari tightly as he ran across the burning sands. Each step sank deep into the ground, but he didn't stop. His armor hissed as it cooled from the flames. The heat tried to pull him down, but the voice in his helmet kept repeating, "Hostile territory. Evac not available. Survive." Zalari's body was weak, but her mind raced with questions. Who was this human? Why did he save her? She had heard stories about humans. Some said they were monsters, others said they were protectors. Now one had appeared like thunder and pulled her from death. "Where are we going?" she asked, barely able to speak. "Somewhere they won't find us," Logan replied without looking back. The desert was endless. 2 suns burned above them, and the ground cracked under each step. Logan finally stopped at the base of a tall rock wall. He placed Zalari down gently, then scanned the stone with a small device. A hidden door appeared, an old escape tunnel from a forgotten war. Logan opened it and led Zalari inside. The air was cooler in the tunnel, and the silence was thick. Lights flickered as they walked deeper. Dust covered everything, but it was safe. For now, Logan placed a light on the wall and sat down beside her. He opened a small pouch and gave her water. She drank slowly, silver drops running down her chin. "You could have left me," she said softly. "Why didn't you?" He looked at her, tired but calm. I heard your distress signal. I came because someone had to. She blinked. I sent that signal weeks ago. I know, he said. Took me a while to track it. You're lucky I came when I did. She looked at him for a long moment. His armor was cracked, and his face had cuts. But there was no fear in his eyes, only focus. Suddenly, a strange sound echoed through the tunnel. A growl. Then another. Logan stood up fast. They followed us, he whispered. From the tunnel behind, shadows moved. The tribe had released heat hounds, beasts bred to hunt by smell and sound. Their skin was fire-resistant, and their eyes glowed red in the dark. Logan pulled out a small cube and threw it down the tunnel. A bright flash exploded, shaking the walls. The hound screamed and stopped for a moment. Move, he shouted. Zalari tried to stand, but her legs gave out. Logan didn't hesitate. He lifted her again and ran deeper into the underground maze. They turned corners, climbed over debris, and pushed through metal doors. Each step brought them farther from danger, but the hounds kept coming. Logan reached a broken hatch and placed Zalari inside a small chamber. Stay here, he said. Seal the door after I leave. What about you? She asked, afraid. I'll draw them away, he replied. Before she could stop him, he was gone. Zalari sat in the dark, listening. She heard blasts, roars, and the crunch of metal. Minutes. Felt like hours. Then silence. Suddenly, the door creaked open. Logan stepped in, bleeding from his shoulder, but alive. They're gone, he said with a weak smile. Zalari reached out to him. You saved me again. Logan sat beside her and whispered, and I'll keep doing it until we're both safe. In that cold chamber, far from the fire pit, something new began between them. Not just survival, but trust. And outside, in the endless sand, the tribes searched in anger. But they didn't know this human. They didn't know he was trained for war. They didn't know he wasn't done fighting yet. The heat hounds' hunt the desert night was cold, but the tunnel walls still held the heat of the day. Logan's shoulder bled slowly, and Zalari sat beside him, watching in silence. She had never seen a creature fight like this human, facing monsters with nothing but will and strange earth tech. He had saved her twice, but the danger was not over. Far behind them, deeper in the sand plains, the hunters were not resting. Groth, the tribal leader, stood atop a ridge holding a vial of Zalari's silver blood. He poured it into the mouth of a beast chained beside him. The creature snarled as its eyes turned blue, the same shade as hers. These were no normal trackers. They were called heat hounds, living machines made from beast and fire. Once they caught a scent, they never stopped. They did not fear pain, and they could walk through lava without harm. Now, their target was one girl, and the human who dared to steal her. Inside the old tunnel, Logan stitched his wound with a shaky hand. Zalari looked at him with worry. You need rest, she whispered. He shook his head. We don't have time. Something's coming. How do you know? He turned his wrist and showed her a blinking red light. Motion sensor. Multiple signals. Fast. Big. Zalari's heart sank. Heat hounds, she said. I've heard of them in old stories. They never stop. Logan stood up, his eyes sharp again. Then neither do we. They packed quickly and moved through the rusted tunnel. Pipes hissed with old gas, and broken lights flickered. Each step echoed through the silence. But the silence didn't last. A low growl started behind them, followed by metal claws dragging against the floor. They're here, Logan said. The hounds burst into the tunnel like shadows with fire eyes. Their jaws opened wide, full of steel teeth. Logan turned and fired his energy pistol, blasting one in the face. It dropped, but two more came. Run, he shouted. Zalari ran ahead, her legs finally finding strength. Logan followed, dodging claws and flame. One hound leapt at his back, but he slammed it with his broken arm. Sparks flew. He dropped a metal orb behind him. As it rolled, it beeped once and exploded in a white flash. The tunnel shook. For a moment, they escaped the chase. They reached an old storage room, full of crates and dust. Logan locked the door behind them and pressed his back against it. We can't outrun them forever, he said. Zalari looked around and found a metal panel. This used to be an Avarian war shelter, she said. Maybe I can reactivate the defense system. Logan stepped aside. Try. She placed her hand on the control panel. It lit up. A soft hum filled the room. I need your help, she said. Your code, Combine it with mine. Logan placed his glove on the other side. The system blinked. Then, slowly, a blue shield formed around the room. The hounds arrived seconds later. They slammed into the shield but couldn't break through. For now, they were safe. Logan sat down, breathing hard. You saved us. Zalari looked at him. No, we saved each other. Outside the shield, the hounds circled like angry ghosts. And far beyond them, Groth smiled. He had seen everything through the beast's eyes. He spoke one word to the sky. Let them run. The fire is patient. But Logan had no plans to run forever. He was already thinking, already building, already preparing, and Zalari? She felt something strange inside her chest. Not fear. Not pain, hope. The broken beacon, the blue shield, buzzed gently, keeping the heat hounds outside. Logan checked his weapon. Its power cell was almost empty. His armor was damaged, and his body needed rest. But none of that mattered if they couldn't call for help. We can't stay here long, he said. Zalari stood near the glowing wall. Her silver hair had turned dull from dust, but her eyes were sharp now. You said your ship would come. Where is it? Logan pulled out a small device from his belt, a black box with a cracked screen and blinking red light. This is the emergency beacon, he said. But it's broken. Zalari moved closer. Can it be fixed? I tried, Logan sighed. It needs a fusion trigger. Mine was fried in the crash. She tilted her head. I've seen something like that. Back in the command room, before the war ended. Avarian tech used crystals instead. Logan looked at her. You know how to build one? Maybe, she said. But I need tools, energy, and a quiet place to think. Logan smiled a little. Then let's give the galaxy one more surprise. They searched the hidden shelter, going deeper into the underground base. Old machines stood silent, covered in dust. Lights flickered from overhead. Zalari found what she needed. Tiny crystal rods, a half-charged power cell, and an ancient Avarian console. She sat on the floor, tools spread around her, fingers working fast. Logan watched her hands, so quick, so skilled. She was more than just a girl who needed saving. As she worked, Logan moved through the old storage rooms, finding dried food, clean water, and a blanket. He brought it to her without a word. She paused for a second, touched his hand, and whispered, "Thank you." Hours passed. Logan dozed off for a while, but Zalari didn't stop. Finally, a soft click echoed through the room. I think it's done, she said. He stood, surprised. Already. She handed him the repaired beacon. A small white crystal glowed inside. Don't waste it. Logan tapped the screen. A blue light blinked. A signal pulsed across the sky. A call for help. But before they could celebrate, something went wrong. The beacon made a strange sound. The signal shook the air and then cut off. What happened? Zalari asked, panicked. Logan checked it again. Someone's jamming us. The signal was strong, but it hit a wall. Zalari's face turned pale. Groth. He has a sky burner. It blocks communication. Only the royal code can break through. Logan narrowed his eyes. And who has the royal code? She hesitated, then slowly said, Me. Logan stepped closer. Zalari, who are you really? She looked down, then spoke in a quiet voice. My full name is Zalari Tevavarn. I am the last princess of the Avarian throne. Logan didn't speak for a moment. Then he said, That explains a lot. Zalari's fingers trembled. I was supposed to lead my people into peace. But our world fell. I escaped. The tribe caught me. They thought I was cursed. They feared your power, Logan said. And now we'll make them regret that. But even as they talked, far above, Groth watched the sky and smiled that he had intercepted the signal. He now knew where they were hiding. And he was bringing more than heat hounds this time. The fire wasn't just returning. It was coming for revenge. Asterisk burned the human first. The air changed. Logan felt it first. A sudden pressure, like the desert was holding its breath. The ground trembled faintly. The blue shield protecting them buzzed louder, then cracked in one corner. A low hum echoed through the tunnels. Zalari stood slowly, eyes wide. They found us again. Logan nodded. They're not sending just beasts this time. A loud voice echoed from the tunnel outside. It was deep, full of hate. Human, step out, or we burn you where you stand. Groth had come himself. Zalari moved toward the exit, but Logan pulled her back. No, I'm the one they want. She looked at him, her voice shaking. They'll kill you. Maybe, he said. But if I don't go, they'll collapse. This place and kill us both. Before she could answer, Logan stepped into the open, raising his hands. Groth stood on the ridge above, flanked by armored warriors and burning torches. The heat hounds growled beside them, ready to leap. Groth laughed. So the fire thief shows himself. I didn't come to fight you, Logan said. I came to protect her. Groth sneered. Protect a cursed princess? You think your fire is stronger than ours? He raised his hand. Burn the human first. Let the girl watch him die slowly. The warriors grabbed Logan and dragged him toward a new fire pit built from melted stone and bone. Zalari screamed from the tunnel, but a shield was placed around her. She pounded on it with her fists. No. Stop. Please. Groth ignored her. The flames grew taller. Logan was thrown to the center, his armor stripped down, his wounds reopened. But even now, he didn't scream. He looked at Zalari through the shield and gave her a nod. Not of fear, but of trust. Then something unexpected happened. The crystal in Zalari's necklace, one she had worn since childhood, began to glow. Bright. Blinding. The shield around her shattered like glass. The light rushed forward, pushing back the heat. Groth stumbled, shielding his eyes. What is this? Zalari walked forward, her feet steady, her voice calm but loud. I am not cursed, she said. I am the last flame of Averia. And you are nothing. Her body pulsed with light, pure energy flowing from her silver blood. The warriors dropped their weapons. The heat hounds whined and backed away. Groth roared and charged at her, but she raised one hand, and the air exploded with light. He was thrown back, unconscious. Zalari ran to Logan and pulled him from the fire pit before the flames reached his skin. That he looked up at her, weak but smiling. You didn't just save me. She held his face in her hands. No, she said softly. We saved each other. Above them, the sky blinked. Logan's beacon had reconnected. The signal had broken through, and help was finally coming. The sky answers for a moment. The desert stood stilled in no wind, no chance, no fire, just silence. Then the sky cracked open. With thunder, a glowing trail streaked across the heavens like a sword of light. The tribesmen looked up, shielding their eyes, as a massive earth warship broke through the clouds, silent but terrifying. Its body was smooth, black as night, and 10 times larger than any of them had ever seen. The beacon had worked. Logan leaned against Zalari, his body weak but eyes burning with hope. Told you someone would come. Zalari stared upward. She had seen many ships in her life, but this one felt different. It didn't just fly, it ruled the sky. From its belly, smaller dropships launched, falling like comets toward the ground. Dust exploded where they landed. Steel soldiers stepped out, humans in full armor with glowing visors. Their weapons hummed with invisible energy. Stand down. A commander shouted to the tribe. You're surrounded. Groth, still on the ground, rose with shaking hands. No, this is our land. He reached for a torch, but a pulse blast hit the ground in front of him, sending him flying backward. The Earth soldiers moved in fast, surrounding the fire pit and capturing the tribal warriors one by one. The heat hounds tried to attack, but the soldiers released sonic grenades that dropped the beasts like toys. The fire was finally out. Logan was lifted gently by 2 medics and placed on a hover stretcher. One of them looked at Zalari and paused. She's not human. She's with me, Logan said. She saved my life. The medic nodded and motioned her aboard. Inside the ship, everything was cool and quiet. Soft lights glowed along the walls. Machines scanned Logan's body and began healing his burns. Zalari sat beside him, holding his hand, her silver blood still glowing faintly. That a doctor entered, scanning her. He blinked twice. This blood is remarkable. It's adapting. It's not just alien. It's healing. Zalari looked away. My people thought it was cursed. The doctor smiled. Then your people were wrong. This could change everything. Meanwhile, outside the ship, Earth soldiers cleared the area. The tribes were disarmed. The fire pits were destroyed. For the first time in years, the sky above the desert was quiet. Back inside, Logan turned to Zalari. You saved us both, you know. She shook her head. No, you jumped into fire for me. I only lit the way out. They smiled, 2 strangers. From 2 dying worlds, now connected by fire and light. But as the ship prepared to leave, Far away on another hilltop, a single figure watched from the shadows. His skin was burned, his armor cracked. Groth had escaped, and in his hand, he held a piece of the broken beacon, still glowing with Zolari's energy. The fire was not finished. Her fire awakens. The Earth ship floated high above the desert now, a silent guardian in the sky. Below, the tribes had scattered. The fire pits were turned to ash, and the screams of battle faded into dust. But inside the ship, something far greater was unfolding. Zolari lay on a med bed, eyes closed, body glowing faintly under the skin lights. Her silver blood pulsed brighter with each heartbeat, and the machines around her beeped faster, confused, curious, almost afraid. Doctors surrounded her, whispering words like mutation, miracle, and living weapon. But she wasn't dying. She was changing. Logan stood nearby, arm wrapped in clean bandages, his armor replaced with soft clothes. He watched through the glass, fists clenched. The same girl he'd pulled from fire was now becoming something else, something powerful. The chief doctor approached. Her DNA is rewriting itself. Whatever energy she triggered in the desert, it's still inside her. She's not just adapting anymore, she's evolving. Logan's voice was low. Can she survive it? The doctor hesitated. That depends on what she's becoming. Suddenly, the lights flickered. A wave of heat passed through the room. Alarms blared for a second, then stopped. Zolari opened her eyes. They were no longer just silver. They burned with a glowing core, like stars trapped behind crystal. She stood slowly. The machines around her powered down, one by one. Her skin shimmered like molten metal, and her voice, though soft, echoed through the chamber. I can feel everything. Logan stepped forward, cautious. Zolari. She turned to him and smiled. Yes, it's still me, but more. He reached out. Are you in pain? No, she whispered. I'm awake. She walked past the confused doctors and stood at the ship's viewport, watching the desert below. I can't hear the fire calling. I know where Groth is. Logan tensed. He escaped. She nodded. He carries a piece of the beacon. My blood is in it. I can track him. The commander entered. We can send a strike team. Finish him before he rises again. But Zolari shook her head. No, this is my fire to end. She stepped onto the launch deck. Logan followed her. A small recon ship was prepared. Fast. Quiet. Armed just enough. I'm going with you, he said. She didn't argue. Minutes later, their ship tore across the sky toward the canyon Groth had crawled into. He was waiting, building a new pit, whispering old curses into the wind. But when they landed, he didn't find a cursed girl or a wounded soldier. He saw a glowing force of nature standing in the dust. Zolari didn't raise her hands. She didn't use weapons. She simply stepped forward. Groth screamed and charged, and she released a pulse of energy so bright, the sand beneath her feet turned to glass. When the light faded, Groth was gone and no ashes. No sound, just peace. Back aboard the Earth ship, Logan sat beside her. The galaxy didn't know it yet, but something had changed. The fire that once tried to consume her now answered to her. Zolari was no longer a victim. She was a warning. She was the flame that could burn or heal, and beside her stood the only human who dared walk into the fire to find her. The stars were quiet now, but not for long, because legends had begun to whisper of the cursed girl who rose and the human who lit the spark. And the galaxy would never forget them.